I proposed to Claire 6 months ago after 3 years together. We met at a friend's housewarming party, where she caught my attention not just with her looks, but with her sharp wit and infectious laugh. She's ambitious, works as a marketing executive at a prestigious firm, and has always been fiercely independent, qualities I've always admired about her. The night I proposed, she cried happy tears and immediately said yes. I had saved for months to buy her the perfect ring, a modest but elegant diamond set in white gold. Nothing flashy, but beautiful, just like our relationship. She wore it proudly everywhere we went. Dinners, family gatherings, even casual grocery runs. Everywhere except work. I first noticed it about 2 weeks after the proposal. She was rushing out the door, coffee in hand, briefcase slung over her shoulder. I noticed her bare finger and pointed it out, thinking she'd forgotten it in her morning rush. "Oh, I don't wear it to work," she said casually, applying lip balm while checking her reflection in the hallway mirror. "Why not?" I asked, confused. The ring wasn't ostentatious. If anything, it was understated. Claire sighed, the way she does when she's about to explain something she considers obvious. "It's not professional. Plus, I don't owe anyone my relationship status. I'm there to work, not to discuss my personal life." Something about her tone made me uneasy, but I reminded myself that Claire has always been private about her personal life in professional settings. She's mentioned before how female colleagues get treated differently once they're engaged or married, suddenly bombarded with questions about wedding planning or future family plans instead of being taken seriously for their work. "I understand," I said, though part of me didn't. But I let it go. Weeks passed, and I mostly forgot about it. Claire was still the same loving partner at home, planning our wedding for next spring with excitement. We were happy, our relationship solid. Or so I thought. Yesterday, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw a notification. Claire's coworker Miguel had tagged me in a photo. Strange, since I'd only met him once at the company holiday party last December. I tapped on it. It was a group photo from their department's team-building happy hour the previous evening. Claire stood in the middle, smiling broadly, cocktail in hand. Her left hand was draped casually over a colleague's shoulder, a guy I'd never seen before. No ring on her finger, which wasn't surprising given her stance on wearing it to work. What was surprising, however, was the body language between them, the way she leaned into him, the way his hand rested just a bit too comfortably on her waist. And most telling of all, the caption Miguel had added, "Third wheeling never looked so awkward." My heart sank. I stared at that photo for what felt like hours, zooming in on their faces, their hands, analyzing every pixel like some deranged detective. The guy, tall, dark-haired, wearing an expensive-looking blazer, had that smug confidence I immediately despised. Claire looked different. The smile she wore wasn't her usual one. There was something more alive in her expression than I'd seen in months. I scrolled through the comments. Most were generic office banter, inside jokes I wasn't part of. But one comment from someone named Jenna stood out. "You two need to get a room already." The guy, apparently named Ethan, had replied with a winking emoji. Claire hadn't responded to any comments. I put my phone down and paced our apartment, trying to rationalize what I was seeing. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe Miguel was just making a bad joke. Maybe I was overreacting. But that nagging feeling wouldn't subside. When Claire came home that night, I was sitting in the living room in the dark, still running scenarios in my head. She flipped on the light, startled to find me there. "Jesus, you scared me," she laughed, putting down her bags. "Why are you sitting in the dark like a serial killer?" I didn't laugh. "How was your happy hour?" Her expression shifted almost imperceptibly. "It was fine. The usual office politics and cheap wine. Nothing exciting." She started moving toward the bedroom, a classic Claire deflection technique. "Miguel tagged me in a photo," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. She paused mid-step, then continued walking. "Oh, I didn't see that. You looked pretty comfortable with Ethan." Claire turned around slowly. Her face was neutral, but I could see the calculation happening behind her eyes. "He's a new client director. We were all just having fun." "Third wheeling never looked so awkward," I quoted. "That's what Miguel wrote." "Miguel thinks he's a comedian," she said dismissively, rolling her eyes. "He's always making inappropriate jokes. Is that why Jenna said you two need to get a room?" A flash of anger crossed Claire's face. "Are you seriously doing this right now? Interrogating me over some stupid office photo?" "I'm asking because something doesn't feel right," I said. "You won't wear your engagement ring to work because it's not professional, but you'll have some guy's hand on your waist at happy hour?" "That's not fair," she said, her voice rising. "You're taking a single moment out of context." "Then give me the context, Claire. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're hiding our engagement at work while getting cozy with a colleague." "This is ridiculous," she spat. "I've had a long day, and I'm not going to stand here defending myself over nothing." She stormed into the bedroom and slammed the door. I stayed on the couch that night, scrolling through Claire's social media, looking for other clues I might have missed. There was nothing obvious, but I noticed something else. In the past few months, Claire had been tagging her location at various happy hours and work events more frequently than before. Always with the same group of colleagues. Always with Ethan somewhere in the frame, though never as prominently as in Miguel's photo. The next morning was Saturday. Claire emerged from the bedroom looking exhausted, as if she'd slept as poorly as I had. She made coffee in silence, then finally spoke. "We need to talk," Claire said, sliding a mug of coffee across the counter to me. It was a peace offering, but her expression remained guarded. I took the mug without drinking from it. "I'm listening." She sat across from me, her fingers nervously tracing the rim of her own cup. "I haven't been completely honest with you. Not about everything." My stomach clenched. Here it comes, I thought. "I don't wear my ring to work because I was advised not to," she said. "Advised? By whom?" "By Diane, my boss." Claire sighed deeply. "When I first came in wearing the ring after our engagement, she called me into her office. She told me that the board was considering candidates for the new chief marketing officer position, and that I was on the short list." I blinked, surprised. Claire had mentioned hoping for a promotion, but not something this significant. Diane said that while it shouldn't matter, the old men on the board tend to pass over women they think might get distracted by family planning soon. Her exact words were, "What they don't know won't hurt your chances." "And you just went along with that?" I asked, incredulous. "It's a sexist reality I've had to navigate my entire career," Claire said, a hint of defensiveness creeping back into her voice. "You have no idea what it's like. Men get congratulated on starting families. Women get sidelined." I could see her point, but something still didn't add up. "What about Ethan? What about all these happy hours?" Claire's expression softened slightly. "That's the other part. Ethan isn't just a colleague. He's Diane's nephew. She brought him in as client director and basically told me to show him the ropes. Make him look good." "And the photo?" "The comments." "Office politics," Claire said firmly. "Ethan's been trying to establish himself as someone with connections." The hand on my waist was inappropriate, and I told him so later. As for Jenna's comment, she rolled her eyes. "She's had it out for me since I got the team lead position over her last year. Stirring up drama is her specialty." I wanted to believe her, but doubt still lingered. "Why didn't you tell me any of this before?" "Because I was ashamed," she admitted, eyes downcast. "I was ashamed that I was hiding our engagement for a promotion. I was ashamed that I was playing along with Diane's nepotism game. It all felt so contrary to who I thought I was, the principles I thought I had." We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of her confession hanging between us. "I called Diane this morning," Claire finally said. "I told her I'm done hiding my engagement. If they can't promote me because I'm planning a wedding, then it's not a company I want to advance in any way." My expression must have shown my surprise because she reached across the table and took my hand. "I'm sorry I wasn't honest with you. And I'm sorry I prioritized my career over our relationship. That's not the kind of partnership I want for us." She stood up and walked to her purse, pulling something out of the inner pocket. When she returned, she placed her engagement ring on the table. "I'd like to put this back on, if you'll still have me. And I won't be taking it off again, for work or anything else." I studied her face, searching for signs of deception, but finding only remorse and hope. "What about the CMO position?" I asked. "I still want it," she admitted. "But not at any cost. And certainly not at the cost of us." I picked up the ring, turning it over in my fingers. Trust, once shaken, doesn't rebuild instantly. But relationships require choosing to believe in someone, even when doubt would be easier. "We have work to do," I said finally. "Real communication. No more hiding things, even with good intentions." Claire nodded, her eyes glistening. "I promise." I slid the ring back onto her finger where it belonged. We weren't perfect, who is, but we were worth fighting for. As for Ethan, Jenna, and the office politics, Claire transferred to a different department the following week. Sometimes removing yourself from a toxic environment is the best solution of all. And yes, she wore her ring every single day after that. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.